Do you like making monsters? I like making monsters. And this video is going to be about a short, kind of a teaser for a game called Mutant Crawl Classics. They're going to be coming out with a monster book, Mutant Crawl Classics number 16. It's gonna be great. I got my first art assignment for it, and I want to take you along for the journey. So we're gonna go from sketch through to the final black and white. So let's see how I do it. I think it turns out pretty good because I'm filming this after I recorded all the other stuff. So all right, let's go. Let's make some cool monsters. Well, yeah, before I get started, I should probably go over a couple of my materials and the supplies that I'm using. So here we go. Got my Bristol, using these Arteza graphite transfer paper. This is the Pentel Graph Gear 1000.7 and two of the Molotow black liners, a round and a brush S. There you go. Let's get started. All right, starting to sketch here for some tide crawlers. And first, I'm going to get started with a little bit of the intro to the book. Here, let's see if I can get this correct. All right, here we go.
Wandering out of the wasteland of Terra AD they come, a horde of hostile mutants, ready to challenge all seekers for dominance of a post-apocalyptic world. Transformed by science run amok, slithering out of the pools of radioactive slime or born from Darwinian laws transformed by countless millennia under a poisoned sky. The 25 mutants in this book are perfect for adding to, or should we say, mutating your MCC RPG campaign. From clouds of killer microplastic to heavy metal beasts to radiation elementals, you'll find plenty of new and unexpected mutants to challenge your players. So, make sure your C cells are fully charged. You've glow burned enough points and you're pointing that weird artifact away from you before pushing any buttons, and let's see what awaits us in the book of monstrous mutants. While intended for use with Mutant Crawl Classics RPG, any of the mutants in this book can easily be used with Dungeon Crawl Classics, X-Crawl Classics, and other DCC RPG variants with little or no change. Feel free to cross the streams, dip the chocolate in the peanut butter, or otherwise go wild. It's the Goodman Games way.
Okay, now here's a little bit of the actual description of the beast.
Tide crawlers. These unsightly creatures are typically found in sandy areas near any large body of highly irradiated water. Crossbreeding combined with long-term exposure to highly radioactive toxins has altered the DNA sequence of multiple animals, mutating them into a single hulking and horrifying beast. The massively sized tide crawler lumbers upon a body resembling a lizard ancestry, though all further similarity ends there. A rock-like shell coated in moss, barnacles, and sea slime covers the tide crawler's back like an armor shell, and its face slightly resembles an octopus, with a razor-sharp beak surrounded by 6 8-foot-long tentacles.
And here's a little bit of the box text, too, for some mutated goodness.
What you originally mistook as a shoreline mound of large, slime-covered rocks suddenly bursts forth in an explosion of wet, briny sand, revealing itself to be a horrifying, 15-foot-tall, mutated crossbreed of unimaginable proportions. Acrid seawater drips from the rocky mound, now riding atop the beast's back, providing a hard protective shell over its serpentine body and 4 stout legs. And what you assume to be the front is a hive of writhing 8-foot-long tentacles, whipping back and forth around a fierce-looking beak that clicks in anticipation of an impending meal. The ground shakes as this massive creature lumbers forward, trailing a light green mist in its wake.
All right, the box text and the description are basically what I was using to kind of come up with what I have here. Making sure to work kind of in the constraints of the quarter page, 3 3/4 by 5. Just want to keep things going. Kind of working on like what I think of in terms of a thumbnail. Had the beast rearing up in different ways, and the vertical format I think it was presented a little bit of a challenge, but that's what makes this work kind of fun, right? So here I am kind of going through, trying to work through some detail on the head. Yeah, basically the detail on the head, and trying to fill up the space here because in editing had a little bit of a weird glitch because I forgot that I recorded basically three sets of audio for one of the descriptions and had put them all in the timeline, and then all of a sudden got some problems. So working through, just having fun. I really like the texture of this paper. Okay, just finishing up my sketches. Here I'm kind of just thinking about what that face is going to look like a little bit more. Maybe trying to get some more detail before I take a picture and bring it into the computer to finalize, just refine the sketch a little bit. I want to bring it into the computer, refine it, and then blow it up to the size that I want to ink it at. So I'm breaking out my eraser, which I don't usually do, but thought it might help everyone out there in YouTube land see it a little bit better. So once I finish this up, I think like looking to fill some space here. Just thinking about what that, what those eyes look like. From the mouth, making sure I got the angles right. So here I brought it in the computer. I forgot to hit record right away, so I have updated the image a little bit, so you'll be able to see some of the kind of where I'm at, where I'm kind of refining what I'm adding in. I use an Intuos tablet, and this is Photoshop. So really just kind of refining edges, making sure my lights and darks are pretty good. I want to make sure I have some good anchors for when I transfer this to the Bristol board. Get my curves going. So there are some things I would do differently. I transferred it to the Bristol board with the graphite transfer paper. But when I get there, well, I should probably wait till we're actually there. But just kind of cleaning up some spots. I was thinking that I wanted to make sure that the background was as good as possible, because this is the first thing that I have to do is make this into a JPEG and send it to the art director for approval. So here I'm just kind of working in some more darks. I want there to be a good contrast for when I ink this thing finally. We got some different edges, get some different highlights going. Background's really not really white, it's kind of a very light gray. It's because I took a picture, and so it's working off the camera. But just kind of roughing it in. I'm just using a brush. I think it's got the transparency on there and the thick thin. See where I'm going with the different eyes, and make sure I want to make sure there's enough information for me to ink it, and also enough information so that the art director can tell what I'm doing. Doesn't have to, don't leave too many questions. I wanted to get this guy look like he's kind of bursting out of the ground, like it was described. Bursting forth. And you come upon this big mound of stuff, and then it just comes flying at you. Right into your face. dripping ooze and slime and a barnacle crusted back. So it's pretty fun. A few more little tweaks and it's almost ready to go. I think I basically get this to the point where it's done, and then I save it as a JPEG, but I don't have that here on the video. Save it as a JPEG. I think 1024 is what I sent. Is a 1024 by whatever I do 1024 as the long end, and then whatever it ends up being, keeping it constrained. Okay, so here's the ink. So as you can tell, my printer needs a new cartridge or something. It's got some issues, but the crop marks are on there. I set it into brought it into Illustrator so I could put the crop marks on there. And I'm taping it to the Bristol board. I just use a little piece of artist tape, and then this is the graphite paper. The shiny side goes down. The shiny side is the part with the graphite in here. Now, what I would do differently is I wouldn't transfer the whole thing on the graphite paper, because the graphite paper it's smudge proof, so as I find out later, it doesn't erase very well. So unfortunately, it just meant I had to do some more extra cleanup after I scanned it. So I'm just working through with a ballpoint pen and making sure I get the whole all of the big landmarks done, because everything else I can not fake, but draw in as I ink. I knew I didn't want too much graphite, because I thought, if I have to erase, I don't want to erase a lot. But yeah, so I would probably just put in a few little landmarks, and then maybe draw the whole thing in non-photo blue pencil. Like just fill in the blanks with non-photo blue, and then I think that'd help when I scan it. So I think at least all that the non-photo blue should go from being able to see it, and with levels and stuff, basically take it right to white right away. That is my theory, and I will find out next time. But it used to be the non-photo blue was because it didn't show up, it wouldn't even show up on a copy machine, so you could draw your whole thing out non-photo blue. There I am, making sure the crop marks are good to go. But I would probably just do, in hindsight, I'd probably just tap in the top of his head, come to make sure I knew where the edges of the whole thing were, and then come through with the non-photo blue, kind of redraw it a little bit. But yeah, just kind of go through. You want to just make sure that now typically I would use a different colored pen. I might use a red pen, because then you don't lose track of where you're what you're tracing. But I kind of like to go, I guess if I was a much more precise, but I want to try and keep the energy of the early sketches as much as I can, and so I'm trying to work, at a pace that I would have been sketching, if that makes sense. Yeah, kind of coming back and forth. I think I do kind of lift up the paper at some point and check. There we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Oh, at least it's. I think you can kind of tell. Well, I noticed, at least for myself, I thought, oh, well, I missed a couple spots there. I know I don't want to get. Like I said, I don't want to get into too many of the details, but I want to know. Okay, well, this area is black, but I obviously don't want to transfer all of that black in the graphite, right? So just kind of making sure I know where things are, making sure I got the fingers right. Maybe some of the textures. Hint at some of the stuff. There we go. Flip, 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 flip. Looks pretty good. Did I miss anything? Nope. I think I'm good to go. And there we go. It's transferred. All right, let's get to inking. Now, all of these things, I sped them up at least 200%. So all of this stuff is going to be much faster than I would normally be working. But I figured, okay, I'm going to be stretching it with a 45-minute video, but I didn't necessarily want somebody to watch an hour and a half worth of stuff. But okay, so I'm using the Molotov round for most of this initial inking. I'm trying to be careful to not smear, to not make sure my hand doesn't rub too much. Sometimes I kind of, oh, it's good. The camera sometimes wants to focus on my hand as to focus on the paper. But putting in some textures, getting some of the tentacle textures. Coming around. So the big thick lines I mostly did with the rounds. Later on, when I come in with more of the detail work, I switch over to the brush S. It allowed for a little bit better fine line, and I thought it could give me some different textures that were good. Some little cross hatching that I do. Typically, I'd be actually working this all inking this whole thing in Photoshop, and I thought I did that for speed, but kind of was wrong. At least for these small ones, I think, for my workspace, I think it's kind of interesting. Like I thought I was going I thought I moved faster with the digital work, but I think I was wrong. But anyway, with scanning this in, the worst comes to worst, I could always go in and finesse something. If I had a catastrophe and I spilled, I could fix it. But it's kind of nice having an original floating around, playing around with some stuff, different textures, kind of filling in some space where I know I want those heavy blacks. And I just filled the blacks in with this, used this round one, but I guess I could have switched over to like the flat chisel tip, or the calligraphy brush, just for filling things in, filling in the big spaces. I like these black liners, the Molotov black liners. They're pigment based, and so they don't seem to run at all if you get them wet. And I think because it's pigment based, it's a little bit more archival, so it should last a little bit longer than ink or alcohol based ink. Like for instance, if I ink this whole thing in Sharpie, at some point it's going to all fade or change color or do weird stuff to the paper. But Sharpies are pretty nice for quick, dirty work. Because they do have a nice, the black is pretty nice. I remember when you actually when you use the Xerox machine, the Sharpies were the things that gave you the best, like copied the best black. Just registered really dark, which was good. Back in the school days. I like how this guy turned out though. Pretty fun drawing like octopus style faces and tentacles. And he's a mutant, so really, I mean, we just want him to make him look as ugly and angry as possible. And hopefully you include this in some of your games. I know I want to. Definitely be fun for any system. I mean, this guy would be. You can have this guy flying out of parts of an X-Crawl event, any kind of dungeon, and then mutation. So I don't know. They don't. So when we do when you're given an assignment, that you just get some of the box text. Usually, sometimes a brief description. But you don't get any stats. So I don't know what this guy's what his armor class is, or what any kind of special abilities it might have. But I can only imagine. And sometimes, so I don't want to imagine them out loud though, because I don't want to, cramp anybody's style in terms of the actual authors of the book. But it is going to be fun. I can't wait for it. I know I want to add it to my collection. I think the monster books are some of my favorite parts of Dungeons and Dragons. Starting with that original monster manual. Okay, I'm starting to fill things in with the round. I think I could, like I said, I could have probably sped this up if I would have used the one of the chisel points, just because they're wider. But I was a little worried about. I think I was going to test and see if. I don't know. I think I'm still using the round. I think I was going to test the brush S to see if I could get it to ride on its side and fill it in faster, but not quite that kind of brush. So here I am kind of coming in through the back. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a 200% speed. 2 times. I guess it would be 2x speed. Gotta get used to all my voiceover lingo. What? I was really having fun. I wanted to get this, like, really to look dark so his head popped forward. Kind of working back through some textures, doing a little bit of pointillism, some little dots, wrinkles, extra stuff. I wanted to go easy with this for cross hatching because it is kind of a thicker bowler line. Not sure when the book's going to come out, though. I'm looking forward to this stuff. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I would suspect before the end of the year, but I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out. I think Caverns of Thracia just came out. Like a lot of good stuff from Goodman Games. So Caverns of Thracia, what else is going to be coming out? I'm not sure of the schedule. So we get. So I know I've done artwork for the. Oh man. I should. I gotta remember what all these things are. The Underdark thing, Underdeeps. And after looking it up, it is called Terror from the Underdeep. Which will be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to those. That seems like a pretty cool thing that I want to start running games. I don't really have my own space to run stuff though. Currently living in some shared space. Makes it hard to run games for people. But I am going to get the opportunity to run some games coming up pretty soon in July. Or I shouldn't say some games, a game. I'm going to run a 0-level funnel at a friend's house. We're going to be running the Accursed Heart of the... Oh, man. A World Ender. Cursed Heart of the World Ender. So that's something that I'm not always the greatest with, is the remembering the names, especially when I'm kind of off the cuff. This stuff isn't scripted, folks. This is me talking into the mic. I guess a little bit worried about dead air, but not too much. Not too worried. I think it's just I'm trying to let you know what's going through my head, at least when I'm sketching and you know, when I'm drawing here. I'm trying to make sure that like his underbelly is darker so that it looks like it's going back. And here's where I like that this section right here is where I'm like, I should have broke out the chisel point. But it works out. Just at a certain point you're like, ugh, am I going too fast? Is it gonna dry out? Am I gonna end up all this stuff I have to go over like 4 times? Alright. Am I switching? Do I switch here? No. Maybe I switch, I don't know. I think I've switched to the S brush. Gives me a little bit finer line, so I thought with the cross hatching it would be a little bit better. There's a little bit more play in the tip too, so I can get some little more finesse with the thicks and thins. Kind of coming through. Just making sure. I want this stuff to look like it's, you know, barnacles and encrusted, and he's got some scales. Sorry, it seems like my camera sometimes switches back and forth between what it wants to focus on, so that's the only negative with this camera. We have to do some tweaking. But I'm secretly hoping that it's just because I'm looking through my trifocals and like don't have the correct section that I'm looking through. If I look through the top, it's all blurry. If I look through the bottom, it's all blurry. And if I look through the middle, it's only sometimes blurry. So, don't get old, folks. Don't get old. It's my recommendation. I'm attempting to do that by drawing monsters. And if you heard the honking in the background, that is because I live next to an alley and people decide that, you know, rather than slow down, they just honk all the way down. Because that means they're safe. Safety first. Honk. Like a maniac. I know I want to get some extra added textures in his body. Some little splashing up some pools. So, I think that's because of my camera, but that bottom edge is actually pretty flat. Coming through some cross hatching, try and get some patterns. Open this guy's head. Some modeling. Give this guy some volume. I'm definitely going to do this again, I think, in terms of the old school way. I kind of trained myself to do a lot of this stuff like on the computer. I use the pencil tool, so I don't have any it doesn't have any levels of gray. It's just the black or the white, and I like how that turns out. And it's kind of nice. It's nice having the undo freedom, but it's also kind of nice, like knowing you can do it the regular way too. And if there's a power outage, I can still get my work done. It's also good. All right, I've got this music I've got is from Epidemic Sound. So typically, I haven't been using the microphone when I've been drawing because I like listening to music or putting a movie on in the background, and obviously all that stuff is copyrighted, so can't share that with you. So, but typically for me, listen to a lot of pretty good variety of industrial, heavy metal, funk. What else? It's kind of all over the place.
Always like it when you get a playlist that goes from Weird Al Yankovic to Tom Waits to Ministry to Slayer, and then ends up with the Charlie Daniels Band and Willie Nelson, and then crosses over into Johnny Cash and the Sex Pistols. So, a little variety. A little spice of life. So yeah, I'm definitely working with the Brush S right now. I know I'm coming through with the finer details. It's looking pretty good. I'm liking how it's going. Coming underneath, I realize that anything that registers too white, I don't know if I necessarily want it. Right? I want there to be some textures. This thing has to look heavy and big. But coming through, looking pretty good. All right, coming through some more details. This guy, I think I would like to add this creature, and I think I'm trying to think of what, if I had a module, what would I be adding it to? I think would outskirts of town, bubbling radioactive waste pools. Like, not even thinking ocean tide. This would be like a tide of radioactive pools. Have it come out at night, grabbing people that are dumping their garbage. Just looking for snacks. It's just looking for snacks. He's just a cuddly little tide crawler. Just looking for love. Glowing a little bit green. It's not easy being green. I don't know if you knew that, but it's not. So coming through. That's interesting, that bottom edge. You can really tell that there's a little bit of an angle to the camera. But this is fun. I'm going to have the original with me available for purchase at Border Keep Games this weekend in Port Huron, Michigan. It's a free RPG Day event. Pretty fun. I got a friend who, it's kind of his local store, and I went out last year for DCC Day, and it was a blast. The store's great. All the patrons were great. Everybody was a lot of fun. So this year I'm going to be coming in because I figure with free RPG Day, rather than just do another DCC Day. But I figure show some love to some of the other games too. So even though I think Goodman Games definitely has it's so much fun working for a company you're a fan of. And but I got some giveaways that I'm gonna have with me. Some stuff I created with for 5e in 2019, 2020. Before things happened, and the world kind of changed a little bit. So. But I got plenty of giveaways. I think I'm going to be spending the day drawing monsters for people. One of my ideas was to basically audience participation, have people call out different abilities, different types of monsters, different add-ons and things, and then make some amalgamations, some chimeras, make some different kinds of weird creatures, and probably have some. Free to take away, or for the store. Just see what people are enjoying. I know there's a lot of really cool events. Goodman Games has Castle White Rock stuff. Don't have anything in that free RPG book, but I do have the original in somewhere either in storage or close by, but I think it's in storage because of my space. But man, so it's just that's one of those great campaigns because of like how it's broken down and how it's built up, so that you can go from basically a level 1 character, I think, to level 15, because this was the 3.5, 3.0 days. And I think I saw something, one of the Goodman Games feeds today that they said that like it came out right when 4th edition was announced, so it didn't sell really well. But man, Castle White Rock, my friend actually, who's gotten me involved with Border Keep Games, he actually was running a Castle White Rock campaign. I think it ended up collapsing just because of adult schedules and, you know, that kind of stuff. I think people moved. You know, it's hard to keep things running, especially to get to 15th level. But a lot of fun. All right, let's see here. I think with this now, it's basically I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm almost done in my head, and so now I walk away a few times. Now I've got some time breaks kind of cut in here, just because it's, you know, you think you got it and you're pretty good, but you know, where you want to sleep on something, trying to make the back of his body drop back a little bit more. I want this to look a little bit more like there's some poolage, some tidal gunk. Okay, yeah, I think there was a break there, so I kind of came back through them and realized I needed to work on this a little bit more, knock it back so it goes back a little further. Same with there and there. I want to add some extra detail so that it kind of drops back into behind him. I like how this worked, though. It's nice that the ink doesn't smear, because as you can see, I'm sort of careful, but not always careful. So yeah, here we go. Get a little bit more darkness on that bottom edge. Really describe a tail on this guy, but I figure he might have a tail. I kind of imagine him like this big weird turtle thing, like an alligator turtle octopus head. I'm trying to drop back that under his chin a little bit more. A lot of these things now are basically, it's just a lot of waiting coming through. Okay, now I realize I want to put the title of it, Tide Crawlers by me. And even though I do sign this right now, I do come back and work on it a little bit more. So, you know, like I said, I kind of, you know, walk away, think I'm like, okay, cool, it's done. And it could be done. And I realize I want to put, you know, MCC 16. Tome of Monstrous Mutants. Oh, and I realized that one thing I should say is that the book of the MCC 16, the Book of Monstrous Mutants, is going to be written by Erica Barlow, Lou Hofer, James Posenel, Tim Satterley, Tim Snyder, and Stefan Surratt. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. Sounds like a good team. Cool stuff. But yeah, even if I hadn't been working on this would definitely be in my want to purchase. So yeah, like I said, I kind of want to darken that leg, kind of put it back a little bit more. Coming through. I think only a few more little tweaks. I think at this point now I'm coming in with the eraser. So I've let it sit for a while. I think I let it sit overnight actually because I just didn't want to deal with smearing. And I only have trouble with these things smearing with an eraser if I try and erase like in the first 5 to 10 minutes. So here I am erasing, and I'm realizing that it isn't doing anything. And those graphite lines that are smear proof are also eraser proof. So yeah, so that was kind of annoying. And so like here, that was like the super soft eraser, and I switch. I'm like, maybe I can use this other eraser. Maybe that'll work. And I try a couple spots, and no luck. So that's it. I scanned it, and then I tweaked it in Photoshop, which I don't show, which probably should have, but I didn't. So sorry. I basically erased out any of those lines that still showed up, and made sure I tweaked it, and basically kind of set it up almost exactly how I would have done it if I would have done it digitally. So we got to get rid of those blobs. Thankfully, they don't stay attached to the paper.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate you watching the video. If you made it this far, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to all your friends. I'm going to have more monster goodness coming in the next few weeks. Some things personal I'm working on, and if I get any more assignments from Goodman Games, I'll be sure to try and record those and share those with you. If you like this, support the channel, please check out my Threadless store. I've got a link here. And I think I'm going to try and put up a QR code and a link in the description. But I've got a whole series of that I call Game Night, and it's all gamer-related gear, including this guy, who I call Chomp. He's you know, he's a little he's got stuff to do. He's got things to do. He's things to, you know, plans. He's got lots of stuff. Anyway. Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. You know, I'm trying to make art for the fun of it. I have a lot of fun when I draw. I'm hoping to share my fun with you. And hey, if you give somebody a reason to smile, you just might get to smile too. So, hey, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to be at Border Keep Games in Port Huron, Michigan for Free RPG Day. That's this weekend, Saturday. So check out local game stores near you. Hopefully they're supporting Free RPG Day. Support your local game store, and let's have some more fun. And game on, baby. Game on.